Well, I mean, it takes 4 seconds.
Well, good morning if you're out there in cyberspace world. I'm looking at our monitor to make sure
We're just double checking
that we
you're
are
with
in
us.
fact live. Well,
Yes.
you know what? Because I'm
I got it. Good morning and happy Monday to everybody.
technology and me. Oh, look at there.
There
I
we
think
go.
We're live. Yeah, hi. So listen, today's show, the 5 ways to enhance your relationship with your spouse, your kids, your friends, or your clients. And this is take 2.
This is take 2 because we never really got to it on Friday.
Right, because on Friday's show, we went for tomfoolery and Cracker Jack.
That's right.
Even though we were trying to be... We were awesome.
We were trying to be deeply philosophical.
We were.
You know?
So today we'll be deeply philosophical. I almost didn't hear that.
Don't start.
Deeply philosophical.
You're going to start, and then we're going to just end up in the same place.
I want to add that today we're also making an announcement on who gets, who owns, who won this single copy of Brian&Carrie's Daily Reader. At the end of the show, we'll make the announcement, so stay tuned for that, because it might be you.
You know?
Never can tell. I know who it is.
Can I say something? So I purposely this morning went and took the tag that this person made, and I sent it to you, so I would remind myself to write it down.
Oh, really?
And I forgot.
I know who it is. It's all good. I just want to point out, first of all, to Satish.
Satish, yeah.
I like Satish. But I love this comment from Maureen. Wow, Carrie, beautiful. But then, Maureen, you followed it up. LOL, Brian, you're not ugly either. I appreciate that.
He's pretty easy on the eyes.
I like being not ugly. So thank you for that.
Good.
Sandy, good morning.
Good morning, Jennifer and Scott.
Who's
Back in Montreal. They had a wild adventure in Amsterdam. Did you hear that noise?
Yeah, it sounded like a fart. It was my coffee cup.
I thought one of the kids was sneaking.
It sounded like this. Isn't that a great fart noise? Don't I make that?
I don't know who sounds like that when they... Whatever.
Our daughter.
Oh, she's going to hate you for saying that.
Whatever, she's not here right now. I'm just saying. Well, so good morning, everyone. Welcome to our pre-show. We have about 8 minutes left before we kick off.
Yeah.
5 ways to enhance your relationship with your spouse, your kids, your friends, your parents, your clients.
Absolutely.
So even if you're an entrepreneur, this is so for you.
I dig talking about relationships in any shape or form. So I'm super thrilled about this this show today because we're actually going to get to it today.
We are. Good morning to Kristen and to Lynette. Hello, Anne, Lisa, Arsenault.
Oh, I just remembered something. I just remembered that we are welcoming 2 very exciting people I'm very excited. Can you tell?
This is a pre-show announcement, too.
This is a pre-show announcement. So I am... Oh, and she just chimed in. Cecily, I am thrilled. We are thrilled to announce the first 2 guests who are going to be joining us at our October retreat up here in the mountains of Mont Tremblant.
The beautiful Mont Tremblant.
They both registered yesterday. They are the first on the inside.
Yeah.
Cecily Casey and Steve Montfinesse.
Oh.
And his lovely wife are going to be joining as well. So we're so excited about that.
I'm beyond excited.
Yeah.
Our retreat's not until October.
It is, right.
And we said this to you last week when we announced that our next retreat is scheduled for October of this year in Mont Tremblant. We said our retreats fill up fast.
Yeah.
It is customary that our retreats are full 6 months before they actually even take place. So, Steve, Cecily, welcome. So excited to see you, meet you, hug you, spend 3 or 4 days with you, and ask anyone. Who is in Spain? Jennifer and Scott.
Jennifer and Scott. What are the dates?
Yes,
Jennifer, now that
Kelly.
you're back home, Jennifer, I'll send you a message.
Jennifer says we are there. And that's not atypical. People who come to a retreat often sign up for the next one or 2 later. So anyways, my point of all of that is if our retreat sounds like something you'd like to have more information about, because we haven't even given information yet aside from where it is. Yeah. Here in Mont Tremblant.
In October.
Then send us a private message on the Brian&Carrie page and we'll respond in the next 24 hours.
Yeah, I'm thrilled about this. You know, I want to share a couple of things because we were talking about, obviously, like we're in gear up for the next retreat mode, right? And October is going to come fast. The people who registered for the February retreat registered like back in July and August.
Oh yeah, they fill up quick.
In the blink of an eye, it's here. But it's a funny thing because I was thinking about it this morning as I was getting ready for the show, and I was thinking about how it's almost as if there is a time warp during the retreats, and it time stops because I don't know about you, but I actually feel like Spain was another lifetime, and it was like this pause. Yeah. And we were all immersed in the energy and the flow, and now everybody's kind of back in their own lives. But it's this amazing, just like it's amazing. Like, you exist and the rest of the world doesn't.
Agreed.
You know?
It is a time warp.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know if you said this, but I feel like I was in Spain for like 3 weeks.
Right.
It was 5 days, but I feel like I was there,
Completely.
just immersed. It's the most beautiful experience.
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
a couple of things before we get started. Good morning to Casey Arnold. It is beautiful in Tremblant Marine, and Robin says it looks gorgeous out there today, and it is.
Yeah.
It is. Like, this is Montreal. Well, it's not Montreal. It's north of Montreal. It's Quebec. Like, this is winter. Mm-hmm. And it's February, which means it's winter. But today, yesterday, and this entire week is plus degrees, right? So it's going to be like 9 degrees up here on Thursday.
In February.
Which is like an all-time high for Mount Tremblant
Right.
in February. The highest it's ever been here is 10 degrees in February.
That's right.
So this is crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Crazy.
Here's my number. So
Call me maybe. It's hard to look right
at you, baby. Here's my number. So call me maybe.
I just want to say something.
Sorry. I love
You might think that I'm embarrassed having just sang that. But actually I'm not. What I am embarrassed is the fact that I know the fucking words. That embarrasses me.
But that's like an addictive song, that one.
It is, but it's still embarrassing. Like, I grew up with Motley Crue and Ozzy Osbourne and Iron Maiden. And on my show, I just sang, I don't even know the fuck I just sang. Who sings? Is that Taylor Swift?
No. Carly Rae Jepsen?
Who the hell is
But
Carly
you know
Rae
what?
Jepsen?
I know you have stuff to say, but I want to say this because this is actually a really interesting backstory. We did not know that song at all. Like, I've never heard the song "Call Me Maybe" in my entire life. And then back in 2000, when did you speak at Sam?
I don't know.
2000
It was in
and
Utah.
something. 2004 maybe, I don't know. So Brian was speaking at this amazing event in like the Park City, Utah, in the Egyptian Theater.
Gorgeous.
And he's about to get on stage and essentially throws everything up in the air that he was going to do. He sees this amazing young musician who he had heard.
Taylor Bono. Look her up. She's superstar.
And he goes up to Taylor and he said, so I have an idea. He goes, do you want to get on stage with me and just free flow?
We'll just
and let's just go, right?
Yeah.
So they did, and it was amazing. But Taylor Bono, she covered that song.
Yeah.
And that's the first place I heard it. So when I hear it, I hear Taylor Bono, and she's awesome.
And Taylor's awesome. She's a nice girl who's incredibly talented.
There you go.
So yeah.
Anyways,
that's a good save.
I mean,
I feel better now.
It's the only reason I know that song.
I still feel gishy.
Whatever. We did that really well.
I also want to add Billy Reuter's here. Allison is here. Chris Goldowski. Oh, look at that. I love Mmba by Hanson. You know what? That's a big admission because actually I love that song. And Carrie is tweaked out by that song. She loves it so much.
I put it on repeat on my iPhone in the gym.
While you're working out, like for an hour.
Oh
my God.
Do it up. Okay.
There you go. Anyways, that was like almost better than you rapping.
I could do the
You're
whole
doing
one.
Hanson. We have 3 minutes left in this pre-show, so I need to tell you what's going to happen today. Today we're doing the 5 ways to enhance your relationship. Spouse, kids, parents, friends, and clients.
Right.
So watch this. It's a big episode. It's one of our like most passionate.
It is.
Topics, and also the Brian and Carrie Let's Eliminate Your Limits Daily Reader. As promised on Friday, we're giving this. This is the only copy in the world. And we're giving it away today at the end of the show. You got to stick around for that because it might be you. And if you're not here,
We're going to give it to someone else.
we're going to leave it for somebody else.
But
That's not unfair.
But good morning, Joey Lane.
Good morning, Joey.
But I'm gonna venture a guess that the person who is going to win it or who has won it is going to be here.
They'll be here. They'll be
I'm not
here.
naming names.
But we know who you are, and you may know who you are, but no one else knows who you
That
are.
was deep. I was gonna do a whole.
No one knows who it is, by the way, except for us. I'm just saying.
I was gonna do a whole drum roll thing, but then I remembered that every time we drum roll on this counter, it shakes the camera.
It does. You know what? See that? Did you? Can you just
It flickered on our screen.
one more time? See
Yeah,
that?
it flickers.
Get used to it for now.
So apparently our emphasis has to come up here.
Yeah. Oh my God.
There you go.
I want to say good morning to Angie Olson, who is in British Columbia.
Yes, she is.
I dig her.
I was just thinking about Angie this morning. We haven't heard from her in a while. So
Angie, where have you been?
I'm glad to see that you're chiming in because I was wondering if you'd fallen off the planet.
Maybe she's mad at us.
In a loving way. She's not mad at
Yeah.
us.
I also want to say good morning to Papa Draps. I so dig Papa Draps.
I love Papa Draps.
I have a lot of heart for Papa Draps and Mama Draps.
Me too.
I want to say I have heart for the whole Draps family, but I don't know the rest of your clan. Y'all I know.
a
So
big
I have
clan.
hearts for you guys. Yeah, they have like 16 kids.
Yeah.
How many kids do you guys have? Like 18.
Yeah.
Right?
No, 4. 6.
4? 6?
They have 2 twins. Well, they have twins. Wow. I think they have 5.
5 kids.
Do you know how many we've known?
That's less than 18, but it's still too many.
We've known Mama Draps for a long time, and I ask her this question like every 3 months.
5, she says. Mama Draps
There
has
we
5
go.
kids.
Thank you.
I know you love them all, but it's 3 too many.
I bet you on some days in the past, Mama Drops agreed.
I agree. Angie says she's never mad. LOL, she missed us.
We missed you too.
Angie, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. So that is perfect timing for me to say welcome to Brian and Carrie in the morning. We are here 5 days a week at 10 a.m. Eastern. Our pre-show starts at 9:50. We're coming at you live from the beautiful Mount Tremblant, Quebec. For now. Never know where it's going to take us, but that's where we are right now. Yeah. We want to welcome you to the show. If you are brand new, please say hello. And there's a slew of people around the world who are going to welcome you to the Brian and Carrie crew. Where my crew at?
Who? You almost did that right.
You know what?
Almost. You don't
Cecily,
remember.
Carrie, it'll never be the same again.
Shit. I have to find a new way to hoo-hoo.
I am not a replica.
So
every day of my life's a little different.
Well, I appreciate that. So I'm going to change up.
That's why she married me. Of course she appreciates it.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that little smile. Aww. Anyways.
Hi to Steve Montfinesse's wife, Tammy. I believe that's her name, Tammy. Looking forward to meeting you guys in October.
Absolutely. Well, with that, let's get
started.
5 ways to enhance your relationship. That is today's show. Your spouse, your kids, your parents, your friends, and or your clients. This show applies to everybody. So what we're looking to do today is to get 30 shares around the world. Look, there are marriages who are entangled and desperate. Mm-hmm. There are friendships that are fractured. There are relationships between parent and kid where the parents don't know which way is up and they don't know how to fix it, right? Mm-hmm. And I want to also add, there are fitness professionals and massage therapists and dentists and mechanics in the world and everybody who has clients, and you often feel as though you're not on the same page with your client's not on the same page with you, there's disagreements, there's hostilities, there's lots of different things. This episode is all about understanding the nuance of relationship and how to fix any fractured relationship in your world, and we're going to do that over the next 30 minutes. So we'd like 30 shares today. Help us out, and here's the deal. We intend to earn the share. You can bank on that. So, my last comment. First and only copy in the world of Brian and Carrie's Daily Reader is being given away to someone at the end of this show. Stick around for that. If you're excited about today's show, a squirrel just ran across. See it? Look at him. A squirrel just ran across and totally
There's a window on the other side as well.
Well, because I can't see through walls.
It could be a squirrel who running across our living room.
I think my reaction would have been different. Really?
It would have been more like this. Ah!
Speaking of which, before we get to content, there was a mouse in our house 3 days ago.
I love that. That sounds so great. There was a mouse in our house.
I'm from the city. We don't allow mice in houses. Right. But he was like this big. He was
actually a shrew. Which Brian didn't know that there was a difference between a mouse and a shrew.
He was a mouse.
His nose is a shrew. He was a shrew. I have got to say something though, because you were talking about saving your fractured relationships, and I want to add that maybe that it's not necessarily only a relationship that's fractured, because you and I are the furthest thing from fractured, but we still apply all of these principles ongoingly.
This is why she's smart, not just pretty. Fact. If you're excited about today's show, give us a share, but mostly give us some hearts right now. I want to see some hearts careening across the screen as I try to block out the squirrel, who's having an apeshit conniption out there right now, by the way.
I've had 4 song references in my head come up as you're talking that I could sing to. And how funny was that?
I think we should make that a daily part of the pre-show.
So can I just break into singing when you... Because you said we're going to get started. And I said, I was running. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started.
Little Fergie and
Black Eyed Peas. I
nice.
never do that. I never have songs in my head. Apparently today I do.
Our songs are in the heart. Well, we're going to start today's episode with the daily mic drop. And today's mic drop is all about pickled vegetables. Stay with me on that one because that makes no sense. But years ago, in the year 2000, as a matter of fact, I moved from Toronto to Chicago. I was hired by the United States national figure skating team to be the head of their performance division. So, happily, I drove all the way from Toronto to Chicago. It's a solid 11-hour drive. Got myself stationary and made a life in Chicago for nearly 11 years. In that time, I worked with the U.S. national team. I started a couple of different companies. I had a really nice life in Chicago. Outstanding to me, however, was one relationship I enjoyed with a videographer who we hired for one of my companies. Him and his family, he was an older gentleman. He actually watches Brian and Carrie in the morning quite often. His name is Kevin Sinnott. And we hired him frequently to do video work for our company. Now, one of the things I love so much about Kevin and his wife, Pat, was that their whole family was involved in their business. And they were just salt of the earth people, wonderful, blessed hearts. They were the most wonderful people to be around possible. But I remember having a conversation. As a matter of fact, it was about 7 years ago this week, because I was on my way up, moving from Chicago to Montreal to be with this sweet thing right here. And I had a conversation with one of Kevin's sons. And he said to me, he goes, I admire so much that you just upped and moved from Toronto to Chicago. And now you're just upping and moving from Chicago to Montreal with no real safety net or knowledge of how it's all going to work out. I have so much admiration for that. To which I said to Mr. Sinnott's son, I said, you could do the same thing. We all could. I mean, if you have a bug to travel or bug to do something, do it. Why do you sit in admiration of me when you could be doing the exact same thing? And I'll never forget what he said to me. He said, he goes, but the grocery store around the corner has a brand of pickled vegetables that I really like. And I'm a bit of a picky eater. So if I were to move from this area, I don't know if I could replace those pickled vegetables. To which in my head I thought, really? Your whole life is based on pickled vegetables. The anchor that's weighing you down to this particular geographic spot is a pickled vegetable. The handcuffs you have put knowingly and willingly around your hands that are disabling you from doing what you want in life is pickled vegetables. But then I got myself thinking. Pickled vegetables is a ruse. It's a story. It's complete bullshit. When we're afraid of something, we grasp at anything as proof or rationale for why we don't pursue. For this young man, pickled vegetables weren't a real thing. It was the story he was telling himself to rationalize his fear. So today's daily mic drop ends with this last comment. What are your pickled vegetables? And when are you going to stop telling yourself that you need them? Mic dropped. Did you dig that? I'd love to know. Comments, hearts.
Can I tell you something? I dug that. And moreover, we've been together for 7 years and I've never heard that story.
Oh, I bring up the big guns on the daily mic drop.
That's never. You have to understand that that's never happened. You guys have to. I mean, you obviously, but you have to understand that's never happened to me. I know all your stories. That was great.
Can I tell you when I thought of that story? In the shower this morning. I had a different daily mic drop planned for today.
Really?
But then I started. You know how you connect thoughts? I was thinking about this. Went to that. I went to that. Went to that. Went to that. I was like, oh yeah, pickled vegetables. Anyways, what are your pickled vegetables? But you answer that question,
right?
You've changed your life. I want you to stop and think about that.
Yeah.
If you answer the question, what are your pickled vegetables, your life just changed.
And I know we're going to get to today's topic, but I want to say that, ironically, yesterday we posted up on our feed, on our page, a little post about how we kind of live out of 4 suitcases, and asking people, if they wanted to know how we do that. And a lot of people chimed in saying, yes, they would love to know more. But it's a perfect kind of connection point, right? Because you can't obviously pick up and move if you have pickled vegetables.
Yeah.
Right? So what are those that are kind of holding you back? And in our case, it was, it's easy for us to move because we don't have any pickled vegetables in the fridge or at the store.
Oh, spiritually speaking. So well said. Anyways, 5 ways to enhance your relationship. What are they? How do you apply them today? And don't forget, we're giving away this one and only copy of the Brian and Carrie Daily Reader at the end of today's show. Stick around for that because it might be you. So, don't forget, 30 shares today is the goal. If you can help us out with that, we'd appreciate it. I think pickled vegetables went a long way to earning that share.
Right?
But now, let's get to some good stuff.
people are chiming in on their pickled vegetables.
Really?
And I want to comment on Robin&Carrie because she said our gym, we won't move because we love our gym. And I can relate to that one.
Sure.
Because I grow connected to our gyms wherever we go.
Of course.
And so it used to be that like I would actually pick where I was moving based on if it was in the vicinity of the gym that I belonged to.
Yeah.
Until we started, obviously, just...
But I want to be clear. I want to be clear because Robin's point is well taken and it's not wrong. But I want to be clear to you, Robin, and everybody else. I'm not talking about moving.
Right.
I'm talking about what are you afraid of that's holding you back.
Yeah.
For you, maybe moving geographically is not what you're after anyways. But you, Robin, everybody watching, you are afraid of something, and that something is holding you back from trying it, or doing it, or accomplishing it, or being it. And you're building a story around that fear that is metaphorically a pickled vegetable.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
This is not a direct, you need to move.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is you're afraid of something. We all are. So let me just say it a different way. Don't bullshit yourself. You can bullshit yourself if you want to, but understand regret when you die is 100% final.
Yeah.
Can't do shit about it then. So you might as well, in your waking hours, face the fear, understand where your pickled vegetables are, and change it. That's how it's done.
That's a second mic drop right there.
Boom! Bitches! All right.
Let's get to relationships.
5 ways to enhance your relationship. Here's number 1. Know yourself. Okay, now, I read what we wrote, and it's obviously so applicable, so I'm just going to paraphrase.
Sure.
The number one thing people do when they get into a relationship is they try to discover as much as they can about the other person. And that's cool. Of course, it's not only cool, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
If you're an entrepreneur and you're discovering more about your clients, you're, in a relationship, you're discovering more about your girlfriend or boyfriend. As a parent, you're discovering and understanding your kids. But you know what happens when that's the myopic pursuit? You lose yourself. You forget about who you are, or more importantly, it's like you live in this false world that, well, I've lived for 43 years, so I know who I am, which means now I can drive 100% of my efforts into learning who you are.
Right.
And that's garbage.
Yeah.
Look, we evolve constantly. We evolve every single day in the way we think, the way we feel, based on influence and experience. You are a constant evolutionary machine. And the number one way to enhance your relationship, no matter what it is to continue the process of discovering who you are as you evolve.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I obviously agree so much with that one. And I think that there's so many people who, it becomes that two-headed monster. Right, where you end up, a lot of people actually end up learning so much about their partner that they end up conforming to who their partner is, and they become replicas of each other.
Right, yes.
As opposed to actually continuing to become themselves.
Yeah.
And I think that, I want to say that I think to some extent every relationship goes through that in the early stages.
Yeah.
Right? But I mean, I think that the value of listening to this right now is, number one, if you're already in a relationship, you can work to kind of unlayer that.
Yep.
And if you aren't in a relationship, you can become aware of that as you step back into a relationship.
100%.
And it really does go for any relationship, right?
Yep.
I mean, I've had in the past, when I was still a people pleaser, I had bosses who I would end up like forgetting about myself and becoming more of who they were.
Yeah.
And completely lost in myself.
Absolutely. I also want to add, just to paraphrase, Chris Goldowski was on our retreat in Spain, and he said something to me in a quiet moment, during after dinner one night. He said, he goes, I'm starting to realize how importantly powerful the word selfish is. There's an example. Look at don't wear the badge, don't put on the cape, stop with the societal rhetoric that a mom's job is to do nothing for herself and everything for her kids.
Right.
That is so unbelievably fucking false. It's so ridiculous because you lose yourself in the job, and then you become a martyr to it all, and then you have all kinds of mental, emotional disconnects with yourself because you lost yourself. And I want to add one more thing. Eventually your kids become teenagers, and you know what the best kind of parents are? The ones who teach their kids what they need to know and then give them some leash.
Yep.
Now go into the world and figure it out, and if you fuck up, well, I'm going to come and help you, but you've got to learn.
Completely.
So know yourself is number one.
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely.
Number 2, eliminate your own limits first. You ever notice that when things fuck up in your life, the first person you blame is your wife? Or your kids? Or your boss?
Completely.
You like to blame everybody else.
Yep.
You ever notice if you're a fitness pro watching out there, oh my God, I have such a pain in the ass client, she won't do what she's told. She's the reason it's being fucked up. No, you are. And that's cool. Say it. Eliminate your own limits first before being the preacher and pastor who feels a need to fix everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is a huge one. It goes hand in hand with know yourself.
Yeah.
Self-discovery. You have pickled vegetables. Release them before you start looking this way and saying, Carrie, this is where you have it all wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, my favorite thing with regards to that particular point is that, you know, no interaction can happen without two parties in that interaction, right? You're either a passive passenger or an active passenger on the interaction or the experience, but you're still a passenger, or you're still a participant. So in my past, right, when I was a people pleaser, I might have been completely unselfish, which was a bad thing for me in my situation, and I might have been allowing myself to be treated certain ways by people in my past.
Yeah.
But the reality is, it would have been so easy for me to point the finger at those people and say, you know what, they're this, they're this, they're this,
right,
as opposed to eliminating my own limits and recognizing that, but I'm the passive party right here, and I'm allowing all of this to happen to me.
Right.
So the way that I got out of that was by eliminating the limit around myself that thought that I wasn't worthy enough to have something to say or to stand in my own, you know, in my own two, in my own.
On 2 feet?
My own 2 feet.
I had to give her a
I
laugh.
was going to say my own 2 shoes, but that didn't work.
I'm going to stand on my own 2 shoes. That was very French.
To stand on my own 2 feet and be able to really recognize that it was in my hands.
Absolutely. What you guys don't know is while I was talking about eliminate your own limits first, Carrie's face was like bubbling with passion. I could see it, which is why I stopped talking quickly and let you go. Like, this is a passionate topic for both of us.
Yeah.
Can you tell? Are you enjoying today's comments? Our content. We'd love to see some hearts and some comments if you are. Please don't forget, 30 shares is what we're after today. So if we are earning it for you, please give us a share right now.
And at the end of the show, I want to know, pay attention to number 1 through 5, because I want to know, if you want to share, which one you most relate to.
Perfect. So number 1 is know yourself.
Yep.
Number 2 is eliminate your own limits first. At the end of the show, we're going to look at some of those questions. We're going to answer them. We're going to ask you to post about which of the 5 resonated most with you. And we're going to give away the only copy in the world of Brian and Carrie's Daily Reader. So stay tuned for that. A quick comment. I saw Cecily wrote a comment. She wrote, I blame myself.
Yeah.
So Cecily, I'm talking to you, but I'm speaking to all the hearts who just nodded in agreement with what you wrote. Because there are millions of people who feel the same way. I blame me. It's not about blame. There is no blame to be assigned. It's not Carrie's fault, but it's also not my fault. Right? By pushing blame onto Carrie, I'm shunning responsibility completely. But by putting blame on here, I'm heaping guilt on myself. You know, shunning responsibility and guilt. These are destructive emotions. What we're looking for is honest accountability. Yeah. Look, this is my bad, and now I'm empowered, and I'm going to fix it. That's the attitude we're after. Okay? So number 1, know yourself. Number 2, eliminate your limits first. Number 3, talk. Talk.
Pretty basic.
You don't talk to your wife or your husband so disagreements fester for weeks and then blow up in a fight. Does that sound familiar? You don't talk to your kids so they have some resentment towards you. You have some hostility towards them. That blows up after a couple weeks. You don't talk to your clients so one day they leave and go somewhere else, and now you're pissed, and broke because you don't have the revenues coming in anymore. All of that is solved with communication. Yeah. Communication. But you know what? It's so societally blah. Communication is the bedrock of all relationships. Yeah, we've heard that 1,000 times, but what we're encouraging you to do is build a life around that ethos. If it is a bedrock, then make it a bedrock. And, you know, we've talked about this before. Chris, Kelly, Jennifer Ann Scott, Michelle Adams, Bobby Darren, whoever's out there right now who were on our retreat with us in Spain, you know this firsthand. Cecily, Steve, Tammy, whoever's coming to our next retreat, you're going to learn this firsthand. We talk, I mean, I want to say nonstop, but I mean, the first 3 hours of our day are spent in this room talking and journaling. We journal about what we're feeling, what we're thinking, what our wins were yesterday, and then we share them with each other. And Carrie adds to what she hears me saying, and I add to what I hear her saying, and our evenings end the exact same way. That kind of ritualistic and intense focus on talking to my wife has changed my life. We went from broke to very, very, very not broke. I don't know how to say that with any more tact.
Not broke.
Not broke. We went from overweight to very fit. We went from on the brink of separation to I'm like that little dog in the cartoon, and Carrie's like the big dog. The big dog's just walking, and the little dog's like, where are we going, Carrie? Where are we going? I want to be with you, Carrie. You're my best friend. That I nip at her heels all day long. But it's not suffocating. It's not codependency. We just love being around each other. Talk. It's changed my world. I want to add one more thing. It's changed our relationship with our clients.
Yeah.
We have a lot of customers.
Uh-huh.
We're kind of big deals. So we have a lot of people around the world who work with us, etc., etc. But we have learned in fine, subtle ways to communicate with our customers and clients because we care.
Yeah.
We care a lot. And so we're not content just to be behind this screen and maybe comment to you here on the screen. But we actually communicate with our customers and clients, and that has changed our business life.
Absolutely. Okay, this is a topic that I could talk about a whole show on.
Yes,
because,
we should.
You know, for me, I've been a counselor for almost 20 years. So as a clinical counselor, your primary expertise is in communication, right?
Absolutely.
You have to be able to communicate both in offering as well as receiving. So listening and talking are both, they kind of go hand in hand when we talk about communication, right?
Yeah.
But I can't get over like how I think talking is one of the things that it's the simplest advice to give, but it's the most challenging to actually implement. And what I think that there's so many reasons for that. But my mind's going back right now to, it's kind of funny, okay? Because as a clinical counselor, communication was my practice.
Right.
But in relationships, communication for me sucked. I had
well said.
I mean, communication on the receiving end was great. I could listen for hours, but talking about how I felt and what I wanted, and all the thoughts that were in my head were such a challenge. And it came down to it for me is that like there was a fear in talking. There's a fear in sharing what was in my head and my thoughts because I was afraid of judgment. I was afraid I wasn't good enough. I was afraid that negativity would be cast my way. And I think that that's the situation that a lot of people find them in relationships when they want to talk. You all know what you want to say.
Yeah.
It's all in your head, but if crossing your lips, right? It's literally like a 20-foot wall that it just can't come out. Ask yourself, like, what is the fear on the other side of that? Because there is a fear on the other side of that. It's usually something to do with, being judged or, creating an uprising or an upstorm or in your relationship.
Yeah.
But it's one of the best things. Like, take the time to practice it, get better at it, and appreciate it for that. Like, it's a practice. It gets better.
I agree. So far, guys, that's 3. Are you enjoying today's content? If you are, give us some hearts right now. Let us know that we're fulfilling the reasons you're here to watch Brian and Carrie in the morning. And we are after 30 shares today. So if you agree that we're earning it, give us a share if you could right now.
Yeah.
Know yourself. Eliminate your own limits first and talk. Number 4, learn language. Now, yes, and of course, I can have an entire show around us in the whole learn language concept.
Sure.
And I think we should actually if you want, do one on us and the kids.
Yeah,
okay?
Absolutely.
But I'm going to do one right now on our clients.
Okay.
Okay? Angie Olson, who's watching right now. Correct?
Yes, she is.
I can just tell her what's up.
Right.
I can just message Angie and say, Angie, get your head out of your ass. I love you, girl, but you're full of shit. And Angie receives that. Yeah. And she says thank you. And she goes, you know what? That's exactly what I need to hear. I'm turning around right now. I have some clients who, if I said that, they would be wads of crying goo in the corner sucking their thumbs. And bless them. Yeah. It's not because I think they're weak, which I could go on a long extra diatribe on some coaching processes.
Oh, don't get me started.
Don't even get me started on that. But there's not a one-size-fits-all. There's a one-size-fits-one. And we make it our job to understand the people who invest in us, in Brian and Carrie in the morning. So I can say to Sandy Weinberg, who's watching right now, sweetheart, love you to death, but you're so full of shit, get your head out of your ass. And she'd be like, you know what, thank you. Mm-hmm. I have to go a different route with some people because I've taken the time to learn their language. Yep. That is a huge relationship must.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to take this somewhere different than maybe you wanted me to.
No, it's good.
But I have something to add to that. So you do not have to be an expert at doing this, because some people might be sitting there thinking, yeah, but Brian, you're a coach and you've been doing this for years, so that's like second nature for you, right?
Yeah, right.
You don't have to be an expert to start doing this.
Not at all.
What you have to do is make a commitment, right? You make a commitment to listen and pay attention to yourself and them. And in this situation, because it's so true. Like if I am, I'm in a funk or I'm in negative space or whatever. Sure. The way that you bring it to my attention is different than the way I bring it to your attention, right?
Yes,
for various reasons.
Yep.
But how do some people are going to ask, like, how do you figure that out? Really simple. Pay attention to what's going on. If I say something to Brian and inevitably it ends up shutting him down more, versus if I say it a different way and it actually helps him move more easily back into the place that he wants to be, happy, free, whatever, why would I not opt for that way?
Exactly.
Why, if I were to say to Brian, you know what, you are totally screwing over our day right now, blah, 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 blah. Like, it ends up actually interrupting him longer. Like, he stays there longer.
It becomes worse. Exactly.
It gets worse. Whereas if I just say, is everything okay?
Yeah.
Just that is enough to call him back, right?
Exactly. I've used clients and customers. You just used relational. Let's use kids.
Yeah.
You ready? Maya, our daughter, if you get tough talk with her, if you get tough love with her, she cries. And she starts to build pictures. Yeah. Meaning, I'm not good enough for my bubby's love.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough for my mom's love. And that is, as a parent, it breaks your heart. Mm-hmm. But as a human being, could all parents, I'm going to say it, and a lot of coaches in the world, take your collective heads out of your fucking asses and recognize that not everybody responds the same way to the same stimulus. Right. So you want to be a tough talking dad to your daughter who cries every single time you get that way. And the behavior itself doesn't actually sharpen up, right? Then you are going to be dealing with a teenager and a young woman who's got self-esteem issues and who does not know how to love herself properly, because she always felt as though she wasn't good enough for your love. If that's the kind of person you want to cultivate, well then fucking keep screaming. Yeah. But with Maya, the second my voice raises, which, I still make the mistake of doing sometimes, but I correct immediately. Maya needs to be talked to softly. Mm-hmm. She needs to be touched. Yeah. Sweetheart, look, it can't be this way. Right. It's soft, and she responds, and she doesn't get a story in herself about it. Chase is the exact opposite. Yeah. When I raise my voice or elevate myself to almost my tone, he snaps up right away. There's not one lick of self-esteem issue in that child. Yeah. And yet he responds to authoritative. Right. And I think one of the reasons is that he can smell bullshit from a mile away. Mm. We're talking to our son now, who is like the wrong kind of teacher's worst nightmare. Right. Because if you are kind of like, if your bark is bigger than your bite, he'll walk all over you. Yeah, absolutely. Right? But he responds to tough love so dramatically. Yeah, there's another example of parenting. And
I'm sorry, I'm just going to go quickly back around on that one. Why do we communicate that way? Why do we make the false choices or the wrong choices in the moment? Because we're making it more about us than we are about the person who we're actually communicating with.
Of course.
I mean, and that's like, yes, it's important to you have to look at these 5 things. They're all interdependent, right? You're knowing yourself, you're eliminating your limits, you're taking care of yourself, right? Right. So then, of course, that there's in a relationship, there's a taking care and cultivating the relationship and the other person, right? We have to be able to offer that as well.
100%.
So, yeah.
So we digging this? Let's go to number 5 right now. All right? Know yourself, eliminate your own limits first. Talk. Learn language. The last one is understand versus relate. I don't want to tip anybody's hand, but this is our favorite. Yeah. You ready? Carrie's a little emotional sometimes. So when she gets angry, she cries. When she gets frustrated, she cries.
I get anything, I cry.
Pretty much, right? And you know what? Back on this, when I get anything, I get angry. I get loud. that's the temper just starts to flare up.
Yep.
So, early in our relationship, what the fuck's the problem now? Why the hell are you crying again? Why does everything have to reduce to tears? Mm-hmm. That's not really understanding my wife, is it? It's also not trying to understand my wife.
Right.
I will never relate to why Carrie's emotions peak. Mm-hmm. Because that's not who I am. But my job is not to relate to my wife. My job is to understand her with compassion. Carrie will never relate to why my temper flares. Well, it used to, at least, on a drop of a dime. Mm-hmm. She'll never relate to that because that's not her temperament. But she stopped trying to relate to it and instead gave me compassionate understanding. That changes the world.
Mm, yeah.
It changes the world because you no longer, like, when's the last time I got really angry? Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm serious. When's the last time you cried uncontrollably for nothing? Mm-hmm. It's been months upon months upon months upon years.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's not because I've evolved or Carrie's evolved. It's because we've evolved together and stopped trying. I stopped trying to make Carrie like me.
Yep.
And Carrie stopped trying to make me like her.
Right.
We could never relate to each other. You never will. Mm-hmm. But you can understand with compassion. And that really does move mountains.
It really does. You said something there that I know you were framing it insofar as what you were explaining, but it actually, it gave me a new twist on this that I had never really considered in this way before.
Yeah.
You said you can never relate to why Carrie's emotions peak, right? And I know you were referencing my tears, right?
Yep.
But my immediate thought was, isn't it all just emotion peaking? Right? Because,
of course it is.
Yes. It is, right? Yep. And I know that obviously you recognize that as well.
Because my anger is emotion.
Anger is emotion. Frustration is emotion. Withdrawing is emotion, right? Mm-hmm. So I always say this, we're all the same more than we are different, but yet we try to relate to people in the exact ways that we interpret, that we receive, that we perceive situations.
Right.
And what that ends up doing is end up leading to this massive disconnect because we're not relating to the person, we're trying to change them.
Right.
Like, how many times in the past did I say to you, I would rather you just cry?
Yeah.
Because I know how to deal with that, right? As much as you would probably rather me stop crying and get a little angry.
Yep.
Because that's familiar to us, right? So we're not doing this because of the fact that, like, we're trying, I don't think that we're actually really trying to change people so much as we're trying to, best way we can, serve that person, but we're serving from our perspective and what we know, right?
And you're never going to be able to do it.
Exactly. So take the time to understand that your partner and you're the same.
Yep.
You just express it differently.
My highlight from what Carrie just said there was that she used to say to me, I just wish you'd cry because I know what to do with that.
Right.
That's not her being a bitch. That's not her being aggressive and trying to make me more like her.
Right.
But it is a passive way of her trying to relate to my emotional peaks rather than understanding them.
Right.
And when we broke the mold on that, everything changed.
Everything changed. So,
5 things. Know yourself, eliminate your own limits first, talk, learn language, and understand versus relate. You tell us right now, if you could, which of those resonated most with you. Carrie's going to watch the monitor while I give this away. And here it is. This book, there's only one copy in the entire world. It's the Brian&Carrie Let's Eliminate Your Limits Daily Reader. I love this book. It's my favorite book on the planet right now. It is all dog-eared and tattered because we've read it a few times and looked at it from an editing standpoint. This came with me to Spain. And I'm actually proud to give this copy away because it's one we've had in our possession.
Yeah.
It's almost like we didn't just write it. We've been reading from it and energetically with it for weeks now, right? So here's who we have decided to award this book to, but I want to start with a reason.
Yeah.
Okay? Here's the first reason. I don't know in the history of working together, you and I, if we've ever seen a bigger metamorphosis, a bigger change in 2 people than these 2 people.
I get emotional.
Carrie's going to get emotional. We're talking about, like, 2 of our favorite people in the world. We're talking about people who have been with us for some time now and people who we have just such an emotional bond with, spiritually.
Yeah.
But they have changed in such beautiful ways. They've blossomed so much, right?
Yeah.
That's one reason. And I want to say something else. And I want to say this properly. I want you to understand this without it coming off as capitalistic nonsense. And Carrie, you don't even know I'm going to say this.
No idea.
So, you know, together Carrie and I might get somehow 400 some odd private messages in Facebook every single day. And every single one of them practically is someone saying, hey, this is the part of me that's broken. How can you help? Can you fix it for me? Can you tell me what to do? And 98% of the time, we don't really know those people at all, and we've never met them in person, or we don't even know their names necessarily. Now, we're not victims of that. We feel blessed and honored and out of our minds grateful that people around the world who don't even know us personally think to send us private messages with some of the deepest parts of their world and how we can help. But the reality is, and I'm saying this honestly, we don't return those messages. And it's not because we don't want to. It's not because we are capitalists and we'll only give you attention if you pay us. But it's the sheer weight of time and volume. Do you have time to return 400 private messages every single day? We don't. So we have to secure and organize our time and our efficiency and our energy and our focus on people who truly invest in us. When you invest in us, we will invest the entire world in you. That's a lock, stock, bank it guarantee. And it's not to say if you're a newcomer or if you've never bought anything from Brian and Carrie in the morning, we're telling you you gotta pay to play. That's not what we're saying. The reality is we give free information like this out 5 days a week. So we absolutely do for you whether or not you ever pay us a dime, and we're not asking for it. But if you really want our attention, you really want stuff and our focus and our love and our true myopic connection with you, then investing in us matters, because that's how we know you really want to create change. So, with that, and I saw a lot of hearts flowing, so hopefully you heard that well. I'm not wrong, I saw hearts.
Nope, you saw hearts.
So with that, this book is going to 2 people. And I am so pleased to say that this coming Wednesday, this book will be in the mail to Chris and Kelly Goldowski in Huntington Beach, California. I don't ever say their last name right, but now it's just a funny joke. Goldowski. We absolutely love you guys to death. You have been with us for 3 years now, 2 years now, something like that. You were with us in Spain, spending a few private moments. Chris, you and I talked about religion and politics and history. We talked about spirituality. Kelly, I saw sides of you I'd never seen before, and that made us both so emotional to watch you just blossom like that. And I love Chris's word after the retreat, caterpillar. He's blossoming more and more. Yeah. We just have an unconditional love for you guys, and although it's a small token of our gratitude that we have for you, we are more than pleased to pop this in the mail to you this coming Wednesday. Same day we'll send Lynette Macias her personal journal. So Chris, Kelly, thank you so much for everything.
Chris says he's getting verklempt. I love your vocabulary.
I love that he can spell that.
I obviously echo everything you just said. And can I add to some of the stuff that you were just saying really quickly?
Absolutely.
Because Brian was talking about, we don't respond to all those messages, right? And one of the things that, we are very, very authentic about sharing this with people. One of the things that I can't help but, think about every time someone sends us a message that's very detailed and very in depth, right?
Yeah.
And asking for help is I don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
Meaning, how could I possibly, take 20 years of your life and summon a message that's going to answer all your questions? The answer is I can't. And any single coach who tells you they can is lying.
Lying their ass off.
It's impossible. I don't know on that given day if you're coming to me with, a negative emotion. Are you in ego that day, or are you in a good place that day? I have no idea. I don't know anything that's going on in your life. I absolutely think it is irresponsible as coaches and counselors to even try to muster a reply to someone who says, this is what's going on in my life.
How do I fix it?
How do I fix it? You know what my answer is? My answer is always stay tuned. Watch the show, because you know what? You're going to start your journey.
Exactly.
You have to start your journey. And that's like the honesty of, I think, how everybody should serve.
I agree.
I'm done with that one.
You want that is our response. Start by watching the show. Because Lisa Draplik just said it. We do respond in sharing ourselves every day.
Yeah.
And then if you want more of that, we'll come to a retreat. Spend 4 days with us and let us help you renovate your life in ways that right now you can't even begin to believe will happen. 4 days. And we will help you unlayer so much garbage and change everything. Ask Jennifer Ann Scott, who's watching, Chris and Kelly, who are watching.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that is our forever response. So for now, guys, Chris and Kelly, thank you so much. Lynette Macias, your journal is downstairs. They're going out in the mail on Wednesday. Chris and Kelly, if you could just send us via private message your mailing address. Oh, you guys are the best. Great response, Lee. Change your lives forever. Thank you, Kelly. I've been so blessed with you too. Angie Olson. Can't wait, Cecily.
Best comment of the day. Jennifer Ann Scott. My client didn't recognize me this morning. She just... goosebumps. She just got back from the retreat on Sunday.
Jennifer Ann Scott, that's right. You were in Spain with us, but you stayed an extra week on your honeymoon.
Mind blown. I have nothing else to say.
My client didn't recognize me.
We are a good 10 minutes past the time we usually run, and you guys are the best.
Yeah, can I just say that officially, Brian and Carrie in the morning starts at 10 a.m.
And it goes till we stop talking?
The Brian and Carrie in the morning starts at 10 a.m. The pre-show starts at 9:50 a.m. and we're done when we fucking say we're done. So hopefully you just stick around for as long as we keep talking, but... Mic drop from Jennifer.
I was going to say crew. What do you think about that?
Where's my crew at?
Hoo. Awesome. Good stuff.
Guys, Brian and Carrie crew, t-shirt, swag, coming at you very, very soon. Soon.
As I hit you. Did you see that?
30 shares today is what we're after. If we earned it, please give us a share. Chris Kelly, this is coming to you on Wednesday. And tomorrow... come right back here because we're here 5 days a week.
Yes, we are.
Mwah. Bye. Y'all. Ooh, I'm going to do a Carlton.
You're going to do the Carlton for everybody? It's not unusual to be loved by anyone.